Good morning, warriors. Please join me in the pledge to the Bible. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've been working through ways to make school a better place. Let's do that. Be a truth teller. Even when if you fall down, get back up and keep on going. No. Excuses, sir. Never. Good. And then we've also been working through our catechism. We've been working through what a covenant is. So let's start with that. So remember, it's a relationship that God establishes with us and guarantees by his word. What is a covenant? A relationship that God establishes with us and guarantees by his word. In the covenant of life, what did God require Adam to do? To obey God perfectly. Good job, fourth grade. To obey God perfectly. What did God promise in the covenant of life? Right, to reward Adam with life if he obeyed God perfectly. What did God threaten in the covenant of life? To punish. Right, to punish Adam with death if he disobeyed God. Big question. Did Adam keep the covenant of life? He sinned against God. So now our big question we've been working on is, what is sin? So sin is any lack of conformity to or transgression of the law of God. What is sin? Sin is any lack of conformity to or transgression of the law of God. So there's two ways that we have, there's two kind of components to sin. So the next question then is, what is meant by lack of conformity? We talked about that. When you think about when you go to art class and you look at the wheels and you think about someone making a pot with soft clay, we're talking about that's conforming. So the definition is, what is meant by lack of conformity? Not being or doing what God requires. So repeat after me. Not being or doing what God requires. So the conformity, we are to conform to the likeness of Christ. We see that through the law of God. The Ten Commandments are the summary. Anytime we fall short of that, we're not conforming to what the requirements of what God is asking us to do. And then we'll talk about what transgression is, and that's a blatant disobedience. I know it's wrong, and I'm going to do it anyway. So any of those things are sin. We've been talking about faith. Faith is something that we've talked about that is trust or believing. It has to do with we're first and foremost to have faith. It needs to start with having faith in God through Christ. And from there, then we can live a life of faith. In Hebrews, there's a contrast between living a life of faith and living a life of what is called sight. Faith is believing in things that are unseen, believing in things that are not right here, right now. Living by sight means that I live for things that I can smell, taste, touch, feel. When I live by sight, I'm doing things for the here and now for myself. So what does that look like for us here at school? Let's talk a little bit about that. A student who lives by faith does the right thing, believing that when they do the right thing, that they will get the reward from God. They don't need trophies, ribbons, or certificates. But they know that if they do the right thing, even if everyone else is doing the wrong thing, they believe by doing the right thing that God will say, well done. And that is their reward. Living by sight, a student who lives by sight just does whatever they want. They're in the here and now. They want the immediate immediate results of an impulse, what they think. I'm going to do that. I got something to say, I'm going to say it. I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to. That's someone who's living by sight. The here and now, this moment, getting everything you can out of this moment. Living by faith is knowing that if you do what's right, you believe in the promises of God, even though you may not get the immediate reward of that, you know that God will be pleased in that. And living for God's pleasure is the best way to live. So as you sit in your desk and you've been following directions of your teacher, you've been obedient, you've been diligent in your work, and you look around, you see people that maybe aren't as diligent as you, or that are distracting or causing problems, and you think, man, they're just getting away with everything, and this is really hard. I'd rather just kind of not do my work, or I'd rather just to go talk to my neighbor even though I'm not supposed to, and I'd rather run instead of walk. I'd rather do all those things. If you are living by faith, you'll say, no, I'm going to do the right thing, regardless of what happens, regardless of what other people are doing, because I believe in the promises of God and that I want to please God. If we have students and staff here that live by faith, we are going to do the right thing because we believe in the promises of God. And if we do that, the school will be a better place. If everyone is living and striving to live by faith to earn the reward of God's pleasure, and you don't need Heart of the Warriors, you don't need certificates, you don't need ribbons, you don't need trophies for that. Hearing God say, well done at the end of the day is the most important thing, and that's what we live for. We are also children of the King, so let's sing about the great promises of that. So today, let's walk by faith and not by sight. Let's walk in trusting in the promises of God, not by in sight, doing what I want to do for this moment, what I can see, taste, touch, feel for right now, but believing in the promises of God that if we do the right thing, God will reward us and we'll feel the pleasure of God. You might think, well, that's going to be pretty hard. That feels like a pretty tall task. We're giant slayers, right? We're warriors. We're giant slayers. So the bigger they are, and let's be giant slayers today. The Lord be with you.